Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. Today we are going to be doing September speed reviews, even though it's mid-October. In my defense, I have no idea how September went by so quickly. Like, I feel like, I don't exactly know what happened. But the point is, better late than never, so that's why I'm doing my September speed reviews now. Okay, let's go ahead and do this. So the first product is from Serifying Botanicals. This is their Fruit Butter Lip Mask, and I have this specifically in, I believe, the peach shade. I think they have a clear one and also a peach one. So the description of this is that it's an intensive overnight lip mask that envelops the lips with shea butter and apricot kernel oil. Again, intense hydration, softness, and elasticity while you sleep. It also has a little bit of olive oil in there to further nourish and help improve the health and texture of lips. Interestingly enough, and I'll show you the texture of this lip mask, I actually do not think that this is moisturizing enough for a overnight nighttime lip mask. I actually prefer this in the daytime if I want something that's just really, really restorative. It is kind of sticky. You can kind of see that. It looks very neon actually on my hand, but it really isn't that bright and shiny on your lips. It kind of just gives you a very, very healthy tint to your lips versus just being like this neon shade. But the thing is, I find that it soaks in very quickly and then it's kind of gone. So when I think about like overnight lip masks, I prefer lip masks that are like on my lips forever, you know what I mean? So that it's just constantly kind of enveloping my lips in intense hydration versus just soaking in very quickly and then kind of being gone after that. So I do really enjoy this lip mask. I just keep it on my desk as I'm working, and then when I'm, you know, feeling kind of like, oh, I need a little bit of extra hydration or whatever it is, or my lips feel chapped, this is one of the products that I definitely reach for. So not bad at all, but probably would recommend something more like Lanolips if you want something that's really going to restore your lips overnight. Moving on to the second product. This is from CoverFX. This is their Gripping Primer Plus Firming. This is an amazing primer. If you have even the slightest bit of oil on your face and you find that foundations tend to slip off of your face, oh, you must check out this primer. It is so, so good. So the description of this is that it's a unique jelly texture that creates a smooth glass-like finish on the skin, grips makeup for flawless application and long wear. It is definitely more like a gel. Like, they were totally right about that. It is clear and you can see that, which is kind of nice actually as a primer, because then when you smooth it out on your skin, you're not worried about leaving like a weird cast or anything like that. But man, does this grip your foundations. You guys, so you guys know I am definitely more on the oily side when it comes down to my skin texture. And I can use some of my more hydrating foundations with this primer and they will stay on all day, which to me is like, it's incredible. Be right back, Obi is barking. If you are looking for a primer underneath your foundation, honestly, CoverFX does good primers, man. They really do. I was super bummed actually when they left Ulta, and so now I'm kind of like, oh God, do I need to like buy directly from them? Yes, I think you do. I think you do. The next product that we're going to be talking about is Ofra's signature palette in specifically the shade Symphony. So this is, here we go, and I'll open it for you guys to see here. This is described as a palette of melodic mauves and warm shimmers, and it's inspired by their Blissful highlighter, which is also featured here, which is this shade here in the middle. Oops, here we go. One thing to note about Ofra highlights is that they are some of the best highlights on the market. If you want something that's going to melt into your skin and look just so like light catching, but not something that's really going to show off your pores or your texture on your skin, and it's easy to melt into the skin. You don't need to apply that much. They last a really long time. Ofra highlights are just really, really good. I did go ahead and swatch out the eyeshadow palette for you to see here. This is that Blissful shade, which is the highlight. And I actually really, really liked this palette, but more for the shimmery metallic shades over the matte shades. So my favorite shade in this palette is actually this one right here. It has a little bit more of a pink base, and then what they did was they built in this gold shift into it that looks so, so beautiful on the eyes. It is actually what I currently have as my base for my eyeshadow, and then I do have a little bit of that brightening highlight shade just layered on top to just give this look a little bit more of a daytime feel. It was feeling very, very nighttime when I was building on all of the different colors, and I was like, it's a little dramatic, so I wanted to soften it a little bit, so that's why I lightened it. The thing about the matte shades is they blend out really, really nicely in the crease. But if you're trying to really, really pack on that color, you kind of have to go a little bit harder into the pan to build it up. The thing about the dark mattes, like you can see that as a swatch, they didn't swatch super, super well. Now, I don't judge an eyeshadow palette based on swatches just because I think it doesn't really, it's not relevant. What matters to me is kind of how it performs on the eyes. And the dark matte shades did perform well if you wanted to do a very, very blown out look. So it was easy to blend into the eye. But then when it came down to it, I was like, okay, I'm gonna use the deepest shade to actually give me a little bit of eyeliner. And I could not get this color to pack on enough of a punch to be used as an eyeliner. So if you like this eyeshadow palette, you like the different shades that are in here, I would just recommend, highly recommend using a liquid liner or another eyeliner to just help you build up some of that definition, because I don't really think that you're going to be able to solely rely on the deepest shades in here to do some of that really precise definition work. So, but other than that, it's a pretty good eyeshadow palette, and it does last all day long as you use a primer underneath. Next product is the Alleyoop Stack the Odds Multi-Use Face Stacker. It has 3 cream shades, so there's a highlight, blush, and a contour. Product-wise, I'm gonna start with the one that I didn't like to the one that I liked. So the highlight in here is just, it's like not a highlight. So my face, I would definitely say, yes, okay, you can kind of see a little bit of a highlight on my face, but I packed this on like a mofo. Like this is probably like three different applications of this. Like had to dip my finger into the highlight and try and pick it up and then try to apply it to my face. Because the first time that you apply it, there's like no difference. And so I was like, I gotta keep building this. So that's a little bit frustrating. If you are a very, very natural highlight kind of person where you're like, I want to apply highlight, but I don't want it to show up at all, then maybe this would work for you, but it didn't really work for me. So this is my least favorite cream highlight that I've ever used. Like it does swatch okay, but it just doesn't translate onto the face. The blush, however, actually is quite beautiful. This one I like to apply with my fingers, and what I do is I'll go ahead and dot that onto my face, and then I'll use a foundation brush to kind of diffuse the edges and push it into my face. This is a really, really bright blush at first glance. Let me see if I can actually, no, this way was better. I think this is a really, really bright blush, but it does look beautiful on the skin once you've diffused it out. I actually don't have a powder blush on top of this. This is literally the only blush I have on, and it's like a gorgeous summer shade. So really, really like the blush shade, which was interesting also because I felt like the highlight had no pigmentation to it, and then the blush has like a decent amount of like pigmentation, and you don't really have to work that hard to get it to show up on your skin. So I was like, why couldn't you have replicated that for your highlight? You know what I mean? All right, and then my favorite part of this stack, I guess, is the bronzer, which you can probably tell, like I've used this so much. I was reaching for this so much in the month of September. Like I think I've actually almost hit pan on this. I'm very, very close to it. This is a gorgeous contour shade. It is the perfect mix of both cool tones and warm tones to give you that definition but still warm up your face. This is really, really a very, very lovely cream bronzer. I will say that for the summer, I think that this is kind of light for me, and so sometimes I would add it to my face to diffuse it out, and I'd be like, ooh, I lost a little bit of that definition, so I'd have to go in with a second layer. But I do think that this is going to be an awesome product for winter. I think it's going to be the perfect contour shade for me. It's just definitely within this stack, the bronzer is my absolute favorite. So easy to apply, so easy to diffuse out. And it's like the perfect balance between the highlight and the blush of like in terms of pigmentation, right? It's just easy. So 1 out of 3 of these in here didn't work. The other 2 were pretty good. So I guess as a majority, that's like 67% if you round up. That's pretty good. It's pretty good. The last product we're going to talk about is a mascara from Araceli, and so this is their Monarca mascara, and it has avocado oil in this. I don't think there's really a description to this, so I will just describe it myself. If you like really, really dark, clumpier lashes, this is a really good mascara. This is one that I would say you don't really necessarily need to layer a lash primer underneath this. I actually think that if you do, it might get a little bit too clumpy. But this is a really, really nice mascara. I like the wand. I do think it does a decent job of separating out your lashes. The only thing about this formula is I would say it's a little bit more on the wet side. So if you are a wet, black, clumpy mascara person, then I would definitely reach for it. The wear time on this mascara though, and I do think it has to do with the fact that it has oil in it, is not as strong as some of my other mascaras. So if you are someone who tends to tear up during the day, I probably would steer clear of this mascara. There were a couple of times when I was working out when I would get so attractive, but like I would get sweat in my eye and I would be like, ooh, it's kind of stinging. So just be aware of that. It was easily fixed by layering a waterproof mascara over this, but I do recognize that that sounds a little bit high maintenance and that most people may not want to actually do that additional step. So those are my pros and cons with this mascara. I liked it. Not for everyone. Yeah, I think that is the end of this video. We finished our 5 products speed reviews. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you liked it, please feel free to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and I will see you guys next week. And in a couple of weeks, I'll be doing my October speed reviews because let's be honest, this one was super late. So yeah, all right, thank you, bye. We're still super zoomed in.